Have you ever opened a drawer and thought, where did all this stuff come from? I asked myself that question the morning after my 67th birthday. I was looking for a photo album and instead found 5 sets of scissors, 2 broken clocks, and a box of keys that opened nothing. It hit me like a wave. This wasn't clutter. It was my life, layered and forgotten, sitting quietly in every corner. I used to tell myself, one day I'll sort it all out. But then my knees started aching. I needed more light to read labels, and the stairs became a mountain. That was when I knew, if I didn't declutter now, while I still had the strength to choose, someone else would do it for me later, and they wouldn't know what mattered. So I began. Not fast, not perfectly, but with purpose. Today, I want to share the 9 gentle, practical steps that helped me finally declutter a lifetime of mess after 60. Not with shame, not with pressure, but with care. You can do this too. Before we begin, I'd love to know, what's the one item in your home that feels the hardest to part with? We read every single comment, and your story might be just what someone else needs today. Let's begin with the first, and maybe most surprising step. 1. I stopped starting with the hard stuff. Have you ever told yourself, I'll start decluttering just as soon as I get through those boxes in the attic? I did that for years. I kept avoiding the attic, and because of that, I never started at all. One day, after standing in front of those stairs and sighing for the 100th time, I turned around and opened the fridge. Inside were 3 expired salad dressings, a cracked jar of pickles, and a lot of sticky shelves. I cleaned that instead. It took 15 minutes, but afterward I felt something I hadn't in a long time: momentum. So I made a new rule. I would always begin with something easy, something visible, something I could finish while standing on flat ground. My friend Mabel, 73, once told me, I started with the drawer where I keep tea. It had nothing emotional in it, just old packets and crumbs. But cleaning it made me feel like I'd won something. For many of us, the fear isn't the task itself. It's the emotional weight it carries. Letters from someone we miss. Clothes that no longer fit, but still whisper memories. When we begin there, we freeze. But when we begin small, we warm up. I still haven't sorted the attic, but I've decluttered over a dozen other spaces, because starting easy helped me start it all. You can do this too. What's one drawer, one shelf, or one corner that doesn't scare you? Start there. Let it be enough for today. And when you're ready to let go of a few things, there's one more shift that changed everything for me. Not what I tossed, but how I named it. Let's talk about that next. 2. I made a kindness bin. Not a trash bin. When you picture decluttering, do you picture a big black trash bag? So did I. And that image made me feel wasteful, guilty, like I was throwing away pieces of my life. But one day, while sorting scarves I no longer wore, I thought of a woman I once met at church. She always wore hand-me-downs but styled them like they were treasures. I pictured her smile, and I gently folded 3 scarves into a box, labeled it Kindness Bin, and took it to a donation center. That one change, the name, shifted how I saw the whole process. I wasn't discarding, I was releasing, offering, passing along what no longer served me to someone who might need it more. My neighbor Carol, 76, keeps a permanent box in her hallway. She calls it Blessings in Transit. Every time she puts something in, she whispers, "May this find the right hands." There's a quiet shame that lingers in our generation, the idea that letting go means waste. But what if it meant care? What if, instead of trash, we called it generosity? From then on, every time I declutter, I ask one simple question. Is this still mine to carry? Or is it someone else's turn? According to a recent AARP study, older adults are more likely to part with sentimental items when they frame it as a gift to the future, not a loss from the past. You can do this too. Find a pretty box. Give it a gentle name. Let each item you release carry a small blessing with it. What would your kindness bin hold today? And once you begin parting with objects, even gently, you might start to feel tired. That's okay. There's a way to keep going without wearing yourself out. And for me, it all began in a chair. 3. I sat down while sorting. Do you ever look at a pile of papers or a messy drawer and think, I just don't have the energy for this anymore? I used to stand, bend, lift, trying to clean like I was still 40. But the truth is, my body had different plans. My back ached, my feet burned, and by the time I gathered the strength to start, I was too tired to finish. So I gave myself permission to sit. I brought the drawer to my lap, placed a towel across my knees, put on soft music, and sorted from my chair, slowly, kindly, one envelope at a time. My dear friend Georgia, 74, said it best. If I sit, I can keep going. If I push, I give up. That line changed the way I approached my whole house. There's a silent pressure many women feel as we get older, that if we can't do it all the way we used to, we're failing somehow. But sitting isn't quitting. It's adapting. It's wisdom. I've sorted 3 closets and 6 drawers, all while sitting, and each time I felt more capable, not less. Occupational therapists often encourage seated sorting for seniors, not just for safety, but for mental clarity. When the body is relaxed, the heart feels more willing to let go. You can do this too. Don't wait until you have the energy. Bring the task to you. Make it soft. Make it doable. What's one drawer or pile you could sort from your favorite chair? I'd love to hear in the comments. And once I got comfortable sitting, I realized something surprising. I didn't need to keep most of what I touched. That brings us to step 4, and it changed everything. 4. I used the last time I touched it rule. Have you ever held something in your hand and said, I might need this someday? I did that for years. I had measuring cups I hadn't used since 2004, scarves I hadn't worn since my knees worked better with heels, pens that no longer wrote, but reminded me of someone who once did. Then I asked myself one question. When was the last time I touched this with purpose? And that changed everything. If I couldn't remember using it, truly using it, within the past year, I let it go, not as punishment, but as peace. My neighbor Elaine, 78, told me once, if I haven't touched it in a year, it hasn't touched me either, and I only want to keep things that still hold my hand. That line still makes my chest ache a little, because for many of us, keeping things isn't about utility. It's about holding on to when we were needed, when we were active, when we were part of something. But the truth is, you're still part of something now, and letting go of what's no longer part of today makes more room for the present. I started with my bathroom drawer. I found 5 half-used lotions, 3 dried-out lipsticks, and a travel-sized shampoo from a trip I barely remember. I thanked them quietly. Then I let them go. According to the Institute on Aging, memory-based clutter increases after 60, but clarity improves when we make decisions based on current use, not past identity. You can do this too. Pick something up. Ask, have I used this in the last year? Or am I keeping it for a version of me that's already moved on? What did you let go of recently? And how did it feel? Tell me below. Someone else might be holding the same thing right now, unsure what to do. And once I started using that rule, I noticed something else. Some things held more than time. They held love, loss. And it wasn't just about letting go anymore. It was about grieving with grace. That's what we'll talk about next. 5. I gave myself permission to grieve. Have you ever opened a box and felt something catch in your throat before you even touched what was inside? That happened to me with my husband's ties. He's been gone almost 8 years now, and I had kept them in a drawer, untouched all that time. Every time I opened it, I'd close it again. Fast. As if the grief might spill out if I looked too long. Then one afternoon, I sat with that drawer. I held one tie, the navy blue one he wore on our anniversary in 1982. I pressed it to my cheek, and I cried. Not because I was ready to let go, but because I hadn't let myself feel it in so long. That day, I told myself something no one else had. You are allowed to grieve while decluttering. In fact, you must. My friend Clara, 79, said something once I'll never forget. Grief doesn't live in the item. It lives in us. Letting go of the object doesn't erase the love. It just makes room for breath. We don't talk about this enough, that sometimes the clutter isn't about indecision. It's about fear. That if we let something go, we're dishonoring the memory, or forgetting, or erasing what once mattered. But I believe the opposite is true. When we hold each object with tenderness, when we say thank you, even through tears, we're remembering with intention. We're choosing what stays with our soul, not just our shelves. That day, I kept 2 of his ties. I placed them in a small wooden box. The rest I donated to a local charity that helps young men dress for job interviews. And as I closed the box, I whispered, "You're still with me, just in a different way." There's research from the National Council on Aging showing that rituals of release, like speaking aloud or touching while sorting, help reduce anxiety and deepen emotional resilience during downsizing. I didn't need the research. I felt it in my chest. You can do this too. If there's something you've been avoiding, don't rush it, but don't hide from it either. Hold it, cry if you need to, and ask yourself, not if you should let it go, but if you're ready to carry it differently. Which item in your home holds a goodbye you haven't yet spoken? I'm here with you if you want to share it, and once I made space for grief, I realized something important. I didn't have to let go of everything. I just had to decide what legacy I wanted to leave behind. That's where we're going next. 6. I created a legacy shelf. Do you ever wonder, if you were gone tomorrow, would anyone know what mattered most to you? That question kept me up one night. I had so many keepsakes, boxes, photos, notes, but no one else knew what was important and what was just extra. So I chose one small shelf in the hallway, just one. I dusted it, lit a candle, and placed 4 things there. My mother's wedding ring, a postcard from Paris, written by my daughter when she was 19, the first spoon my husband and I bought when we moved in together, and a note to my grandchildren. These things carry my love. The rest is just things. That shelf became my legacy shelf, and it brought me more peace than any box in the closet ever could. My friend Joan, 82, did something similar. She has a legacy drawer in her kitchen. I told my kids, she said, if you ever wonder what meant the most to me, start here. There's a soft fear we carry with age, not just of death, but of being misunderstood. That our stories will scatter, that people will throw things away without knowing why we kept them. A legacy shelf changes that. It tells them where to look and what to hold dear. For me, it also gave me permission to let the rest go, because now the heart of it had a home. The Journal of Aging Studies suggests that visible and intentional memory spaces help reduce anxiety in older adults around end-of-life planning. But even more than that, they help us feel seen, even when we're no longer here. You can do this too. Pick a shelf, a corner, a drawer. Choose what tells your story. Label it if you like. Add a note, and know that what matters most will be found. If you were to make a legacy shelf today, what's the first thing you'd place on it? I'd love to know. And once I made peace with what to keep, I realized I didn't need to do it all at once. I just needed to create a rhythm, a ritual, a way to keep going, gently. That's what we'll explore next. 7. I made decluttering a ritual, not a project. Do you ever start cleaning a room and feel like you've entered a battlefield instead of your own home? That was me for years. Every time I told myself, today I'll tackle the guest room, I'd get halfway in, surrounded by piles, and feel like I was losing. It didn't feel like healing. It felt like punishment. One day, I changed one small thing. I lit a candle before I started, just one little flame. I put on soft music, poured a cup of tea, and chose one drawer to sort. That was it. That drawer took 20 minutes, but the calm lasted all day. So I did it again the next Saturday, and again. And slowly, without force, a rhythm formed. Decluttering became a ritual, not a project. Now, every Saturday morning, my house knows what's coming. It smells like rosemary, sounds like cello, feels like care. I don't dread it anymore. I almost look forward to it. My friend Annette, 76, calls it tending time. She told me, I used to avoid decluttering because it felt like failure. Now it feels like prayer. I think many of us fear what decluttering reveals. That too much time has passed. That we've let things build up. That we can't finish what we started. But when you make it a ritual, there's no finish line. Just small, sacred moments of release. Studies from the Gerontological Society of America have shown that older adults benefit from repetitive, calming activities tied to sensory anchors, like scent or sound. They don't just organize your space, they soothe your nervous system. You can do this too. Light a candle, set a playlist, brew a cup of something warm, and choose one small thing. Let that be your entire success for the day. Do you have a time of week that already feels quiet? That might be the perfect moment to begin. And once I found that rhythm, something even more surprising happened. I realized I didn't have to do this alone. I just had to be clear on how I wanted help. That's what I'll share with you next. 8. I asked for help, but set the terms. Have you ever let someone help you declutter and ended up feeling worse afterward? I have. My daughter once came over with a big black bag and said, "Let's tackle this mess, Mom." She meant well, but within 10 minutes, she was holding up an old blouse and asking, "Why are you keeping this?" I felt small, defensive, ashamed. I told her to stop. It took me a while to realize it wasn't the help I hated, it was the way it was offered. So the next time she came, I said, "Honey, I need your hands, not your opinions. Can you sit with me, hold the donation box, and just listen while I decide?" And you know what? She did. She handed me items. I told her the story behind each one. Some went into the bin. Some stayed. There were no arguments, just sharing. And when we finished, she hugged me and said, "I feel like I got to know you better today." That moment still warms me. My friend Beverly, 80, has a rule. If you help me clean, you help me remember, not judge. That's the key. So many older women fear being treated like children in their own homes. We want support, but on our terms. We don't want our stories erased. We want them witnessed. According to AARP's 2023 Aging at Home survey, 67% of seniors say they'd accept help with home organization. if they felt respected during the process. You can do this too. It's okay to ask for help, but be clear. Set the tone. Say what you need. Please don't rush me. Let me hold it first. Just listen while I think. What kind of help feels supportive to you? Who might show up better if they knew what you really needed? And once you have someone on your side and a rhythm that works, you might begin to feel something you haven't in a long time. Space. Literal and emotional. That's when I learned to celebrate even the emptiness. And that's our final step. 9. I celebrated every empty space. Have you ever cleared a shelf and felt the urge to fill it right back up? That's exactly what I used to do. I'd clean a corner, a drawer, a cabinet, and before I knew it, I'd put a vase, a photo frame, or a trinket back in. It was almost automatic. But one day, after clearing the top of my bedroom dresser, I stopped myself. I looked at that blank surface, and instead of rushing to decorate it, I just stood there, still, silent, breathing. That space felt like something I hadn't given myself in years, permission. So I left it empty, on purpose. And every time I walked past it that week, it whispered something different to me. You don't need to carry everything anymore. I lit a candle on it the next Saturday. Just one flame, no clutter, no decorations, just light. That moment changed how I saw emptiness, not as absence, but as rest. My friend Dolores, 81, told me once, we spend so much of our lives filling space, but at this age, I think our greatest luxury is space that asks nothing of us. I think many of us are afraid of blankness, of silence, of being forgotten. But I believe empty spaces hold memory too. They say, I've released what I don't need, and I still belong. There's even research to support this. A study published in the Journal of Environmental Psychology found that visible open spaces in the home correlate with reduced stress and higher emotional clarity in adults over 60. You can do this too. The next time you clear a space, pause. Let it stay empty for a while. Don't rush to fill it. See what it speaks back to you. What's one surface in your home you could leave untouched, just for a few days? Try it. Tell me what it feels like. And now, with that breath of space around us, let's bring this whole journey to a gentle close. If you're watching this right now and your home still feels heavy, I want to say this to you gently. You're not behind. You're not failing. You're just carrying a life that's been full. And now, slowly, kindly, you're choosing what to set down. Decluttering isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about making space, not just in your closets, but in your spirit. For rest, for memory, for joy. You can do this too. One drawer, one scarf, one shelf. There is no rush. No gold medal at the end, just a little more breath in your day, a little more light in the hallway, a little more room for the person you're still becoming. If even one step in this video spoke to your heart, I'd love to hear about it. Which one will you try first? Your comment might be the exact nudge another woman needs today. And if you know someone, maybe a sister, a friend, or a neighbor, who's quietly drowning in too much, send her this video. Let her know she's not alone. We're all learning to release. Until next time, I'm sending you gentleness, gratitude, and just enough space to exhale.